Hello, I'm Danilo, this is Italian.oraculum, and today I wanted to make my first deck review using the Runic Tarot by lo Scarabeo from creators Jack Sephiroth, Alan Dempster, and Jamie Alford. Sorry for mispronouncing your names. And this is the larger version, the kit version, so we have a larger box, larger guidebook. The cards are exactly the same. Now the box itself, it's pretty sturdy, nice color, clear, some images of the cards, all the names, the informations of the company, all of that, magnetic closure, so it goes boop, and it opens. Here you have your cards, the book on top of it. Here we have the runes from the Elder Futhark, the ribbon to get everything out. Pretty standard, nice box. Moving on. The guidebook, it's rather nice. I would say this is enough for this deck to be used as a combination between tarot and runes. I honestly don't really think it's a good bridge between card reading and cards reading and runic reading. So I would say find a book specifically on runes and practice with them. This is a fun combination, useful combination for sure, but if you don't know anything about runes, I wouldn't say this is a good place to start. Maybe if you have some familiarity with both systems, this could be useful to kind of bridge the gap between the two. So that's an idea, but of course you do you. Now the guidebook opens with a meditation, with a visualization exercise to be able to work at best with our new tool. We have some history about the tarot, some history about the runes. Here in the tarot section we get the new names for the cups and the pentacles, which are now horns and shields, because it's more Viking style, I suppose. I mean, checks out. We also get something about the core cards and their energies, their archetypes. We have again the runes, the Elder Futhark, some little bit of introduction again, and then we start with the majors. Now I want to make it clear, this is a review, but it's a first impression. I believe that if we decide to work with something and start to build a connection and a relationship with it, we are going to appreciate it no matter what. This is the impression of someone who has bought the deck, knows a little bit about runes, knows some more. I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I don't think there are experts, but anyway, that's a more complicated topic. Let's say I'm a tarot reader. I've been a tarot reader for years. I think I know enough to do a deck review about when it comes to tarot. I know a little bit about runes, a little bit about Nordic mythology, and I like to make my life more difficult, so this is the first review I'm gonna do. But I'm no expert on runes or Nordic mythology. I'm just a hypothetical average tarot reader who is interested and curious when it comes to runes and other cultures and their mythology and religions. And so I decided to buy this deck, and this is what I can gather as information on a first look on a couple of first uses. Now, major arcana, we have a a guide for the cards, the deities, and the runes used, and we know that for each of the majors we are going to find a single rune from the Elder Futhark in the artwork. Here we have our full, as we can see, we have a full page for the artwork, title, number, image description, the meaning of the card in the Rider-Waite-Smith system, the keywords, and then the interpretation of the rune. So we get the name of the rune, how it is spelled, some keywords, something about it, and then something more about the god, or rather in this case god, represented in this card and why they decided to pair him with this specific rune. Now that changes when we go to our, sometimes we get two runes. Let me see, the moon, here we go, because we have two main characters, so each one of them gets a rune, and we know which one those are because we get our where it is, here we go, we get our reference here, and again we get the names and pronunciations and the like. Now when it comes to the minors, we found out that for each of the suit they decided to use a different runic alphabet. So for example, the horns, our caps, we get the medieval Futhark, and we are told that here they do not have names, not all of them, but they always are sounds, and they are a mixture between runic alphabet and Latin. So we get the image description, the meaning, the keywords, and then the sound of the runes and what they mean. I would say I have no idea which one of these runes is which one of these sounds with this meaning. So maybe put the actual rune near it so I know which symbols means what, and so in a reading, if one of the three or two of the three jump out at me, I know what I should take in consideration instead of going with all three because that's the information I'm given. Just saying. Then with the shields, we have the younger Futhark, which is a younger, more recent version of the Elder Futhark, the traditional, let's say, more common runic alphabet. And then for the ones, we get the Armenian Futhark, which is a revisitation of the younger Futhark that comes from the beginning of the 20th century in the Germanic and European occult circles. So this is the most recent. Take it as you will. Apparently there are many versions of runes. I don't know if these are the older ones or if they decided one or the other because of some reason. It doesn't say. For the swords we have the Anglo-Saxon runes. So we have a runic alphabet that comes from the 5th century. And again, there's always a sound with the meaning. Even if you get the same rune, it's something else. So you can't even cross-reference them. I would have preferred a clear image of the rune with the sound and the meaning. For a guidebook, this is a good amount of work, a good amount of writing, so I would say put them in. It's not that big of a difference. I honestly don't know why they didn't do it. And then, so for the core cards, again, same thing, but instead of the runes, because they have a single bind rune, which is basically it's a combination of different runes that form a new symbol, and it's called a bind rune, and we don't know what they are. We don't know what they mean. It's not specified. We do know that the page is earth and that the suit of swords is air. So we get the two elemental association of the core cards explained with the keywords, but again, they have bind runes and let's guess what they are. At the end, we have some tips about how to use our cards, how to read them, and a couple of spreads, +1 for magical work, but I'm sure it can be it can be adapted to use it as a reading. As a reading spread, not necessarily linked to spell work. And again, some advice about our first reading with this deck. Now, when it comes to the cards themselves, I would say they are on the sturdy side, not necessarily the most flexible in the world. They are a little bit reflective. Honestly, it's a way worse in camera than it is in real life, so I don't think it's a problem to read with them in person. I wouldn't recommend them to make videos, or maybe be careful even when you photograph them. I've seen worse, honestly. There are more reflective cards. As a comparison, it's a kind of standard size, a little bit shorter maybe. The artwork is intense, I would say, very beautiful digital artwork, digital paintings, moody color, bright colors. It works. The runes are easy to see in all the cards except the tower, which is, I believe it's in the end, if I remember correctly. No, of course. Just a second, we are going to find it. Not a problem. Okay, here we go. We have the tower with Fafnir, famous dragon. The rune is on this stone. We have another symbol glowing here in the dragon's head, but the actual rune is here. Choices were made. Now the characters, the people we see in here are all beautiful, young, fit, white people, except some oddball which is on the older side, especially men, I would say, like Odin, but generally speaking they are all young. She is important for something I want to say. They too. The female figure has I think a couple of expected kind of an expected level of nakedness. Men's as well. I wouldn't say it's too much or something we could not kind of expect from this sort of decks. So I mean, one in particular is, I think, silly, but it's not bad. Here we go. I think we are done. Let me check. Yes. So for comparison here, this is a goddess. This is a goddess. They're both going into battle. They're both beautiful. Oh, sorry. Let's stop. Okay. They're both beautiful, young, blonde women. One has an actual armor sort of costume, which could make sense. And she's clearly in her power. She has fire going through her hands, so she's not really concerned with close combat. While here we have a goddess with a spear and a whip, and she has a very short skirt made of leather straps and basically a boob enhancing bra breastplate, and of course the mandatory wings on her head as a Viking goddess. Not sure if I see this as a warrior goddess. Like, you want to showcase the female figure, you want to tell me she's a goddess so she's not afraid of getting hurt. Give me a naked goddess, like a wild animal with their weapons, or her power flowing through her and around her. Don't make her wear a sexy battle costume. That's, I think it's questionable. Honestly, it's kind of, I mean, these are not people because they're cards, because they're tarot, but these are also deities. So I'm not sure what's the level of respect, the level of respectful representation of the deity in this case, said by an Italian, which means ancient Rome, ancient Greece. Lot of naked gods and goddesses in our old, ancient, actually ancient arts when it comes to statues and paintings. I know, that's fine. But again, they're powerful humans, not ashamed of their bodies and their power. So if you want to make a sexy goddess, give me a naked goddess, not one that covers what needs to be covered with some kind of armor looking ensemble, but still naked shoulders, naked arms, naked belly and back and thighs, basically, for aesthetic purposes. Now, when it comes to the male figures, you like she is clearly naked. She has a wolf pelt on her head. I think this character is way more powerful than this one, and this is a minor. Could even not be a goddess, could just be a woman or maybe some kind of shaman sort of figure. So why she is more powerful than she is when she is not only a goddess but also the chariot, so battle. She's clearly battle ready, she's clearly going into battle. Like, I don't think it really makes sense. Male figure, yes, muscular man in various states of undress. This is sort of an entity. These are two majors, so we know these are two gods. It's fine. We did it for the women, so we do it for the men. The problem is that in these two cases, I feel we can see a god that's not afraid, that it's not bothered by the cold. Maybe because this is a storm, this is the ocean, so it could in a way make sense in that way. Here I don't really see it. Now the other thing I wanted to talk about is this. This is Hel, which is the goddess of the underworld in the Nordic mythology, and she is on the Five of Cups. She's not one of the majors. She is an important goddess. She is a powerful entity. I believe she should be addressed respectfully and be placed in the majors. My opinion, but it is what it is. This is an interesting card for someone who may not know that wooden contraptions, wooden tools to walk and cross snowy terrain are actually an old invention, and may go look at this card and see why is this dude on skis. Skis are modern, while wooden, again, platforms to place under your feet so you don't drown in the snow, you can cross a field more easily, are an old invention. Here we have our death card, which is Odin. It could have been Hell, honestly, but if you want to get Odin on death because he's greeting you into Valhalla, it's up for the card. I don't think it's a problem. The thing I don't really understand is why you have Hell in the Five of Cups while the other cards are major deities, but then you have the Valkyries in Judgment, which are important in Nordic mythology, but are not a single major deity. They are a group of warrior deities. So maybe they should have been in the minors. Hel as an underworld goddess, and because of her mythology, could have been a really good candidate for the Judgment card. Also, again, with the representation here, a Valkyrie is a warrior goddess that's going to take your soul into Valhalla. It's going to judge a warrior. She is a fierce entity. She's a scary entity connected to death and battle. The other Valkyries, maybe. This one looks a little bit more like a very nice and pretty girl cosplaying a Valkyrie. So again, I would say she has a more covering armor. She still has a naked leg, but she at least has a piece of her arms protected, and the winged, again, mandatory winged helmet. At least it's an helmet, not some kind of invisible hair piece. I don't like it. I don't like that card, honestly. So these were my first opinions, like as a that's the impact this deck did on me. I like it. I am going to keep it. I'm going to work with it. It's definitely not going to be one of my favorite decks because of what I said. It's interesting. I'm going to use it. I appreciate it. There are a lot of cards I like. Again, with the guidebook, I wanted to see which runes mean what, and with some of the majors I would have gone in a different way. But anyway, again, these are my opinions. I hope you can use them. Otherwise, no worries. Bye guys, see you next time.